Presidential Election Tribunal begins free hearing. Ekuremadu's daughter blames herself for parent conviction. Troops destroy notorious bandits leader hideout. Rescue kidnapped victims in Zamfara State. On business news, spending on petrol may jump 250% to 8 trillion naira if subsidy is removed. On international scene, world leaders congratulate King Charles III and wife. On sports, Flying Eagles arrive Buenos Aires for training tour ahead of the Under-20 World Cup. Hello viewers, welcome to Standard Voice News channel. I am Samira Ibrahim with today's bulletin. The Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, Abuja, begins its free hearing in the petitions challenging the outcome of the February 25th presidential election. The Independent National Electoral Commission declared that Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress polled 8,794,726 votes to win the election. The Commission declared that Atiku came second with 6,984,520 votes, while it announced Labour Party's Peter Obi as the second runner-up with 6,101,533 votes. But Atiku, Obi and some other parties rejected the results announced by INEC and had approached the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal to annul Tinubu's victory. On what to expect at the proceedings, a senior lawyer in Tinubu's camp, who asked not to be named, told newsmen that the only thing they will do is to schedule the hearing, the number of witnesses, how many minutes the witness will use, and how to admit the documents. Meanwhile, the People's Democratic Party and its presidential candidate in the just concluded presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, have filed an application for an order to allow a live coverage of the daily court proceedings on the case they brought against the President-elect Bola Tinubu, which began. In the motion by his legal team led by Chris Uche San, he specifically appealed for an order directing the court's registry and the parties on modalities for admission of media practitioners and their equipment into the courtroom. But the petitioners noted that televising court proceedings is not aligned to the court and will enhance public confidence. Sonia, the daughter of embattled former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu, said she feels guilty that her parents were convicted because they were looking for ways to find a solution to her health condition.
It's sad. It's been really hard to really wrap my head around. I understand the conviction. Personally, I disagree with it. However, that's from a very biased perspective as their daughter, and I would obviously always back my parents. However, the law has taken its course, and we just have to now move forward as a family. Apart from the case and the trial, I'm also having dialysis.
The Ekweremadu's daughter stated this in an interview with Newsman on Friday after her parents' conviction. Recalled that in March 2023, a UK jury found that Ekweremadu, his wife Beatrice, and a Dr. Obina Obeta criminally conspired to bring a 21-year-old Lagos street trader to London to exploit him for his kidney. Ekweremadu was sentenced to 9 years and 8 months. Beatrice was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison, while middleman medical Dr. Obeta received a 10-year prison term. But Sonia, who is currently undergoing dialysis, was not convicted. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northwest Operation Hadarin Daji have destroyed several camps belonging to notorious bandits leader Bello Turji, rescued several kidnapped victims, and recovered ammunition. The troops in clearance operations conducted on Saturday from Magaria to Dus General area of Zurmi local government area in Zamfara State discovered and cleared bandit hideouts located in Keta, Gidan Galadima, Modawa, Mazuma, and Dutse villages respectively. A top military source who craved anonymity confirmed this to newsmen on Sunday, saying during the operations, troops had encountered the deadly terrorist group at Keta and Dutse camp belonging to Turji. The source said the troops overpowered the terrorists who fled further into the bush and abandoned 10 kidnapped victims who were rescued by the troops. The troops also recovered one rocket-propelled gun bomb, military radios, and some ammunition. In a related development, the police command in Kaduna State says its operatives have neutralized a notorious bandit and recovered operational motorcycle in Kidandan village of Giwa local government area of the state. The Command Police Public Relations Officer DSP Muhammad Jalege confirmed the development in a statement on Sunday in Kaduna. According to him, aggressive patrols along the road have been intensified to forestall future occurrence. DSP Jalege said the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Musa Garba, commended the gallantry and professionalism exhibited by the personnel. He said the CP urged them to sustain the onslaught against banditry and other forms of criminalities in the state. Hundreds of terrorists led by a notorious bandit, Dan Karami, have reportedly relocated from Zamfara to areas between Safana and Batsari local government areas of Katsina State. Villagers said the terrorists were escaping from military onslaught in Zamfara State. They were said to have moved into Saskia, Ronka, Gora, Labu, and other communities in the two local government areas. Villagers said the terrorists had teamed up with another notorious bandit, Usman Modi, who had been terrorizing residents of the area. The villagers said the terrorists, in their large numbers and heavily armed, moved to the area with a large herd of cattle. A source said the terrorists were spread in at least 5 villages on the fringes of Rugu forest between Savannah and Basari, as well as part of Zamfara State. The source, however, said it was not clear whether the bandits were in transit or settling up a new base in the area. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control says it has received an alert from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development cautioning on the possibility that the European Union and the United Kingdom were exporting banned neonicotinoid pesticides to Nigeria and other poorer countries. NAFDAC Director General Mosisola Adeyeye, in a statement on Sunday, said the dangers posed by pesticides are of immense concern to the agency. She also cited the report of the study conducted by Heinrich Böll Foundation, which claimed that 40% of pesticides used in Nigeria had been banned in the European Union. He said emphasis was placed on chlorpyrifos and its variants due to their harmful effects on humans, animals, beneficial insects, and the environment. She said NAFDAC had developed an action plan for the banned phase out of 12 action ingredients and the reclassification of 4 other harmful pesticides in Nigeria. She said the availability of alternatives in the country were put into consideration to ensure that stakeholders, especially farmers, are not affected by the decisions taken. On business news, latest findings and industry data showed that petrol consumers may pay about 8.4 trillion naira for premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, between July to December 2023, once the federal government stopped subsidy on petrol motor spirit in June this year. This represents about 250% increase from the 2.4 trillion naira motor spirit consumers will spend during the period if the government chose to restrain the subsidy region. Oil marketers explained that the average cost of petrol could rise to about 700 naira per litre from July should fuel subsidy be brought to an end in June as projected by the federal government. The development means that expense by Nigerians for fully deregulated petrol could rise by 6 trillion naira during the 6-month period, going by the instance of the government that fuel subsidy will end in June. The Group Chief Executive Officer, Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Milikari, in February, stated that over 66 million litres of premium motor spirit was pumped daily into the market by NNPC Limited to keep the country wet. With a projected average cost of 700 naira per litre once subsidy is removed, It implies that Nigerians would pay about 46.2 billion naira daily for petrol, which translates to approximately 1.4 trillion naira monthly and 8.4 trillion naira in 6 months, July to December 2023. On international scene,
Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
leaders in the United States and Europe sent congratulations to British King Charles and Queen Camilla on their coronation on Saturday. US President Joe Biden, whose country was represented at the lavish ceremony in London by First Lady Jill Biden, paid tribute to the enduring friendship between the US and the UK. Chinese President Xi Jinping urged the UK to work for a stable and mutually beneficial relationship with his country after recent strains in their relations. The head of the European Union's Executive European Commission, President Ursula von der Leyen, called the coronation a testament to the enduring strength of the British monarchy. French President Emmanuel Macron, who also attended the London ceremony, sent his congratulations to Charles and Camilla, calling them friends of France. Italian Prime Minister also sent her best wishes to King Charles III, to Queen Camilla, and the entire British people. On Sport News, Flying Eagles have arrived in Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, for a 10-day camping program ahead of this year's FIFA Under-20 World Cup finals. 20 players and 10 officials landed in the South American country on Sunday night for the training tour. AC Milan midfielder Victor Elutu linked up with the contingent on their arrival in Buenos Aires. The Flying Eagles are expected to engage in a series of friendlies while in the city ahead of the World Cup. Ladamboso's side are drawn in Group D with four-time winners Brazil, Italy, and debutant Dominican Republic for the World Cup. Their first two games will hold in Mendoza in the far west of Argentina against the Dominican Republic on 21st May and against Italy on 24th May before they fly to La Plata to play Brazil on 27th May. The Flying Eagles have made it to the final of the competition twice in the past. The 2023 Under-20 World Cup will be staged in Argentina from May 20th to June 11. That has been the news from Standard Voice Television. To end the news, a recap of the major headlines. Presidential Election Tribunal begins free hearing. Ekuremadu's daughter blames self for parent conviction. Troops destroy notorious bandits leader hideout. Rescue kidnapped victims in Zamfara State. On business news, spending on petrol may jump 250% to 8 trillion naira if subsidy is removed. On international scene, world leaders congratulate King Charles III and wife. On sports, Flying Eagles arrive Buenos Aires for training tour ahead of the Under-20 World Cup. That's the news. On behalf of the production crew, I am Samira Ibrahim saying do have a nice day. Keep watching Standard Voice Television.